Call Halayimla, YAHAWAH, Bahashum, Hamashiach, Yahawashi, Bahashum, Racha Kwadash, Brakata YAHAWAH, Brakata Yahawashi, Brakata Racha Kwadash, Bahashum, Yahawashi, Bahashum, Racha Kwadash. Shalom to the elder apostles, great millstone. Shalom to the Akim wa Akwathium, teaching this truth and sincerity. Shalom. Just wanted to make a quick video going into I was reading Ezekiel 16, and the Spirit revealed to me, hit me about the Christianity and how Christianity is teaches whoredom against Yahweh, because they always say, God loves everybody, God is all love, all nations can be saved. Jesus, which isn't his name, but this is who they ignorantly call. They ignorantly say Jesus, what his name is Yahawashi. Jesus did away with the law. All of this is blasphemy, profanity, and whoredom against the Most High Power, Bahasham Yahawashi. Not Bahasham Yahawashi. This is blasphemy against the Most High, and Yahawashi. And Ezekiel 16 proves it. So just wanted to go into it a little bit. Hopefully this video can be edifying and can be a good teaching video to shed some light on this matter. Christianity has destroyed our people, because they had that plantation Christianity in the slave days, the slave Bible. It took out a lot of verses, very small Bible, and so we know that the Lord say, he that take away or add to it, he gonna add the plagues of the book written therein. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get a couple precepts for foundation. So we'll go start at right here at Matthew 23, verse 15. It says, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte. A proselyte is a new member to their congregation. And when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. So the Lord said, this is in red, this is the Messiah, Yahawashi speaking. So Yahawashi was, he was getting on those wicked scribes and Pharisees and those publicans, because they were wicked, as one of my previous videos, couple videos back, I made, a video called John 8:44. So what that's going into, around this time when the Messiah was walking the earth, the Pharisees were no longer the true bloodline Aaronites, the high priest, the highest priest bloodline, which are the children of Aaron. And so the Levitical priesthood became a political office. And so they were hand selected and picked and were puppets by the Romans. That's why they were like, that's why they hated the Messiah and wanted to take him down, because they say if the people believe, they're going to believe upon him, and then they won't have a seat taken by the Romans. So basically, and Yahawashi was going to, in effect, destroy the political priesthood office that was corrupt and polluted since the times of the Greeks when they came in during the time of the Maccabees, when we were fighting them, and Hanukkah came from that, when we kicked them out the temple, rededicated it and everything, cleansed it from the heathen Edomites, so-called white man that had polluted the temple. But won't go too far off in that. So this verse here, the Messiah was going in on the Pharisees, and how can these new members be twofold more the child of hell than the wicked Pharisees that was teaching false doctrines, false prophets? It's because the Pharisees knew that they were full of it, and they knew that they were teaching improper doctrine. But the new members don't know whether they're coming or going. So whatever they learn, they believe fully that they learned the true thing, and they're going to fight tooth and nail anybody that come up against that doctrine. So they twice the child of hell that those Pharisees were. And so now you fast forward 2,000 years in America, Babylon the Great. You have Christians. I don't really call them Christians. I don't like to call them Christians, because the true Christians were the true followers of the Messiah 2,000 years ago. And they had a bad rep amongst the Romans, and they were blamed by Nero wickedly when Nero set Rome on fire. And think it was somewhere around in the 60s or 70 AD, sometime around there. That Great Fire of Rome, Nero set because he wanted money to rebuild like a city, to make a city for himself or something. They didn't give him the money, so he burnt the city down so he can get money off that. But that's a whole nother topic as well. But he blamed it on the Christians, so-called Christian, the Jews, the followers of the Messiah. No new thing under the sun. Because that's how they hate us now and want to blame us for things, even in the media now, trying to slander us through trickery and crafty counsel through their media. But so here what I was saying is that the modern day Pharisee, miseducated proselyte today are Christians, and I call them Christianity people because Christianity is it's not the true doctrine. It's plantation Christianity that's evolved, and we know the Most High say He changed not, but Christianity has evolved over the hundreds of years being over here in Babylon and Great America. So with that being said, so that's how a proselyte is twice. So these modern day Pharisees, these pulpit pimps, pork chop pastors, are saying God loves everybody. God is all love. All nations can be saved. Jesus did away with the law. All of this is blasphemy, like I say, it's profanity against the true doctrine that Yahawashi came and put down for us to follow the way. And so we'll go from there to Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So Christianity, they learn it through false prophets and false modern day Pharisees. So what? They're in the congregation. That's the congregation of the dead. And people are leaving the Christian church at a record number. And the Christian church is getting weaker and weaker. That's part of the house of Saul, any church outside of the house of David, which is the elect that's awakening in these last days. So from there, we go to Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. And it reads, this is the book of the commandments of the Most High Power, YAHAWAH, and the law that endureth forever. So what they say, Jesus did away with the law. The laws, the statutes, and commandments are done away with. Popular, frequently asinine made comments by these children of hell say that the law is done away with. But right here we just read, and the law that endureth forever, all they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. So we know the wages of sin is death. So from there we'll go to Matthew 5 and 18. And sin is breaking of the law. Matthew 5 and 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle, as one, a dot and an I crossing a T to the letter, no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Everything written in the book therein, until the kingdom of heaven, to the return of the Messiah to usher in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, and from there we'll go to Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. So we're just passing through. The earth abide forever. And the Messiah just said, till heaven and earth pass, shall no wise pass from the law. So if the earth abide forever, then the law abides forever as well, because the earth isn't going anywhere. Even in the kingdom of heaven, New Jerusalem and everything's going to come down. But that's for the righteous spiritual kingdom of heaven on this earth. That's going to last forever. So we'll go from there. So, scoffers going to say, well, that you just read the Old Testament. What about the New Testament? So we'll just go ahead. And Revelation is the end, right? So we read Revelations chapter 14, verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they. And also the saints are the Israelites. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High Power, Yahawaah, and the faith of Yahawashi. So it's twofold now. Before the Messiah came on the scene, the Old Testament, it was about the commandments. You have to keep the commandments. We just read in the Old Testament. Ecclesiastes, 4 and 1? 1 and 4. And then, so now when Yahawashi came, now you have to have the faith and testimony of Yahawashi. You have to believe upon Yahawashi, because his blood is what's going to cleanse us now. We can't come back to the Father except through the Messiah. So you deny the Messiah, kindle the wrath of the Lord, and you'll be destroyed. Because they have a lot of Old Testament only cats that are bugged out, don't know the truth. Ever not knowing the truth. So from there, we will go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Just some foundational scriptures you can write down and have, because Christianity has bugged out everybody because they just don't know, and a lot of them just, proud on top of it and emotional, and don't keep no commandments. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. And it reads, For thou art an holy people unto the Lord Yahawaah thy power. The Lord Yahawaah thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So the Lord has chosen us to be a special people unto himself. Equal? No. Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. And Salakia. Because contrary to because like the most high, like Christianity, Salakia, I got get excited trying to cut these Christianity people in their doctrine and say right here, God loves everybody. God is all love. Well, that's simply not true. So we'll go to Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. So it's one of those key verses here. This is right here plain in the scriptures. The nations are as a drop of a bucket. So a bucket full of water, that's the Israelites. That small drop of water, that's all the other heathen nations. The Lord, if you drop a drop of water from your bucket, you're not going to care about that drop. It's just a small drop. You got so much more, so you're not even worried about that drop. That's how the Lord feels about the other nations. And Israel is that's his grape that he made perfect, pursuant to 2 Ezra chapter 9. I believe it's chapter 9 or 10. But so from there we'll go to Psalms 147. Psalms chapter 147, verse 19 through 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord Yahawaah, Bahashem Yahawashi. So the Lord has not dealt with any other nation, only Israel. Jacob is Israel. His name got changed from Jacob to Israel. The Lord changed it to, because Israel means prince of the power. And in the Hebrew, Israel is Yasharallah, Yahi, Shar, prince, and power. He prince power. Yeah, he's a prince of the power. So who's the power? The almighty power, whom the Lord chose us, and he's our power, and that's it. And we're the only people that he chose to be the power of. People may get mad, whatever, but hey, who wrote the Bible? Who did he choose to write the Bible? The Israelites. Nobody else was there. Who we make the covenant with in the wilderness? Only the children of Israel. 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54 through 56. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So all nations of the earth come from Adam, and then there's a particular sect of people that the Lord chose for himself. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Whose sakes? The Israelites. As for the other people, as for the other nations, as for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing. The Lord just said all the other nations, just like that drop of a bucket, that's nothing. The Lord looks, there's multiple places that's why I say precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that the word of the Lord be established. Thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. So you spit. That's what the Lord thinks about the other heathen nations. That's right here plain in the scriptures. I'm not saying that, that's what the Lord says. And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. There go that drop again from the vessel. So just wanted to paint the picture, and we can begin in the right direction. And we have a couple more real quick. Amos 3, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord YAHAWAH hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, so what nation came out of Egypt out of bondage? Who was in bondage under the Egyptians? The Israelites. Nobody else. No heathen nations was with us. Nobody helped us or nothing. They was living. Other nations existed at that time. They were in their own borders, chilling, doing their own thing, not caring about coming to help us in that hard, oppressive slavery we were dealing with. So why in the hell would we want to give them our inheritance? That's foolishness. Only a slave would say that. That's what plantation Christianity teaches. Teaches you to be a good slave. In verse 2, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. So the Lord only deals with us. He only chastens us. So to expand on that, go to John 3 and 14. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. When did Moses lift up that serpent? In the wilderness. Who was in the wilderness with Moses? The Israelites. Was there any other nations with us? No. He lifted up that serpent because they were getting judged because they were being for murmuring and being wicked. And so when Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, whoever looked upon it, those flying serpents they were getting bit by something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but whomever the Israelites looked up at that serpent Moses held up, the judgment of the Lord turned away from them. No other nation. So people like the Christianity's one and only bullet they love to pull from is verse 16 here. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Very beautiful verse, horribly misapplied by the children of hell of these wicked Pharisees, false teachers, modern day pork chop, pulpit pimp pastors. So that's why when a Christianity person pulls their one and only bullet of John 3:16, just tell them to go up 2 verses to verse 14 right here, and ask them who did Moses lift that serpent up for in the wilderness? Who was in the wilderness with Moses? What nation? Only Israel. So that's that on that. And then also real quick, Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 6 through 8. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. So this goes into who's that full bucket of water in that vessel? The Israelites. And who's that drop of water from the vessel that the Lord looked likened unto spittle? All the heathen nations. So the only people that is his who he loves are the Israelites. And that's whom he's going to chasten, like we just read in Amos chapter 3. He will punish us for our iniquities, because we are only whom he's known of all the nations, all the families of the earth. In verse 7, if ye endure chastening, the Most High Power dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without so verse 7, A good father is going to chasten, spank, whoop, whatever, however you want to call it, their sons. And so verse 8. But not to their destruction, but for their reproof, rebuke, and for their betterment, and for them to be able to receive the kingdom of heaven in the end. That's why we under the white man right now, so-called, because he's chastening us. That's his sword right now, to chasten us, getting us right for the bright day of the return of Yahawashi. Verse 8, but if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. So if we don't get punished, then we'll be bastards like all the other heathen nations. They're bastards. Those are the redhead stepchildren. Or like a bit of a phrase, it's a figurative speech right there. From there. So just want to lay strong foundation on that, just to cut, all of the nonsense that these wicked Pharisees have taught in Christianity, modern day preachers. So Ezekiel 16 goes into how further shows that we could actually, that's a great lesson for that. But Ezekiel 16 needs to go into this a little bit and show that Christianity teaches whoredom against the Most High power Yahawah and against the Messiah. So here is Ezekiel 16:4. And as for thy nativity, Slakia, let's read that over again. Verse 4. And as for thy nativity, in the day thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. So our day of nativity goes into when we became a nation, because Jacob went into Egypt with 70 people, his wives and children, 12 sons. But Joseph was there as the second in command of Egypt, but the other 11 sons of Jacob, and we grew a mighty nation while in Egypt and went to slavery. So that's our nativity, early days, right? And when we got delivered out of Egypt into the wilderness to go to the promised land. And as for thy nativity, in the day that thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. Verse 5. None I pity thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion. See, like I was saying, all these other, when we was in slavery under the Egyptians, all the other heathen nations, they were around. They were chilling in their own borders. Nobody helped us, looked out for us. Nobody pitied us. They were like, whatever, So that's why, anybody have understanding can understand that these other heathen don't have never cared for us. So, why the hell should we care for them? None I pity thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee, but thou wast cast out in the open field. That goes into that wilderness, to the loathing of thy person. And then we know the people murmured against Moses and against the Lord. That's part of why Moses had to lift that serpent up, because they were going off. They was wild. They was, tripping out, wanting to go back to Israel. Wanting to go back to Egypt to be a good slave. And that's another sign that we are those people today. The Israelites are us today. We are the people of the Bible, because our people love Massa. They want to defend Massa, say, oh, they all not bad and all of this nonsense. But thou was cast out into the open field, to the loathing of thy person in the day thou was born. And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yeah, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. All right, so from verse 6 right here, we'll go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 20. Deuteronomy 4:20. But the Lord Yahawashi hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are this day. So that was our nativity, our birthing of becoming a nation, because we didn't have a nation then. We just knew about the promised land from the early days and prophecies from Abraham, passed down oral traditions. But we wasn't a nation yet. But when we came out of Egypt, that was the beginning process. That was our nativity, in the beginning of our becoming a nation, going to the promised land. When Moses sprinkled that blood on us and made that covenant with us, made the covenant of YAHAWAH unto us with that sprinkling of that blood. So, okay, hold on real quick. Go back, and then we'll get verse 7. Oh, no, Slakia. No, we're not. Excuse me. So from there, we'll keep reading. Go back to Ezekiel 16. And verse 7. Yeah, and that live, that's going into that covenant. Right here at the end of verse 6. I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. So that's that live. It's the spirit that quickeneth. That quickeneth goes into becoming a living soul. What makes us live, what cleans us, is the washing of the water by the word. And that's what wakes us up. Ephesians 5:26. That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. So it's that word that breathe that breath of life from the Lord through the commandments. Because keeping the commandments is life. And let's get Galatians 6:8 real quick. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. So how do you reap to the Spirit? Romans 7:21 or 14. Yeah. So Romans 7:14, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold unto sin. So the Lord said, live. And we just read, he that sowed to the Spirit is life. And what is life? And what's spiritual? The law is. So that's how you tie that together. Then from there, we'll go back to Ezekiel 16. And verse 7. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field. And that goes into, we was like a mustard seed, but when, that mustard seed grow is bigger than, any other tree. So we multiplied abundantly and exceedingly when we got into the promised land, Jerusalem. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thine hair is grown, whereas thou wast naked and bare. So, okay. And so the Lord blessing us, he's given us all kind of substance, and we're growing, we're flourishing, becoming a strong, mighty nation under the beauty and purity of the commandments of the Most High. Beautiful culture he gave us. And then verse 8, now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love. And so that was love what the Lord did to us, cleaned us, picked us up, cleaned us, and took care of us, and made us, made us clean through his word. And I spread my skirt over thee and covered thy nakedness. These commandments is what clothed us. That's why I put on the full spiritual armor of the Most High. You're spiritually naked if you're not keeping the commandments. Yeah, I swear unto thee and entered into a covenant with thee. That's that covenant in the wilderness. These were the days, the honeymoon days, the early days, the beautiful, loving times of establishing us and us, growing. I swear unto thee and entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord YAHAWAH, the Most High Power, and thou becamest mine. So the Lord didn't do that. If the Lord did that only to us, and he didn't do that to any other nation, So that means the other nations are not his. It's only us. That's the only way that a nation can be the Lord's, is if he do this. He didn't do this only but with Israel. So plantation Christianity, yet again, proven to be a false doctrine from Satan. Verse 9. Then washed I thee with water. Yeah, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil, cleaned us up. Verse 10. I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badgers' skin, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk. So the Lord, he cleaned us. The first step is breathing breathing in the breath of life in us through the commandments and the covenant. Then he decked us out with clothing, the best of clothing above all nations. In verse 11, I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck. So we was all, decked out to the T. And I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thine ears, and a beautiful crown upon thine head. Thus wast thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen, the best clothing, the best jewels, and silk, and broidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour, and honey, and oil, and thou wast exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. So this is the nativity. The Lord gave us the very best, which is the commandments, and the spiritual. He gave us the very best spiritually, made us the greatest spiritual vessels on the earth, above all nations, far and exceeding above them, all the heathen. And then he gave us the best clothing, the best, jewels, the best, precious stones and gold and silver, and then the best food, the best of the best food, flour, honey, oil. We had the best everything, the best food above all nations. So we had top shelf everything above all the nations. The Lord took care of us really well, exceedingly well. And so we prospered, and we was thriving. And verse 14, and thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty. So, and then now other nations start taking notice, start seeing us. We thriving, we shining, we looking extremely good, very interesting, very peculiar people. They want to know, and so the heathen now, they want to start trying to find out more about us, or want to, inquire and flatter us, and our fame went throughout. That renown goes into fame. So the fame began by the Lord. Everybody, all the heathen nations heard about that major judgment that came upon Egypt, and they were, like, when you read the story about our travels going to the kingdom, we came across certain countries, and they were terrified when they realized that the Israelites were passing through or coming upon them, because of all the judgments that they had heard that just happened to Egypt. Everybody thought Egypt could not be destroyed. Same way with America today. Same great deliverance, but the greatest deliverance and the most powerful, the most emphatic, the most devastating destruction is about to happen upon the so-called white race. The same way he brought upon Egypt, but this is going to be worse, because this is the most brutal, destructive, destroying, cancerous slavery that we've ever had to deal with and go through, because we don't even know who we are. At least in Egypt, we knew who we were. We don't know who we are, and we think that all nations can be saved. We think the Most High loves everybody. We think he's only love. How can the Lord be all love in his creation, us, the humans, the people? We have multiple emotions, but the Most High is only all love. Blasphemy, pure retardation. So that renown, name, reputation, fame, glory, the name as designation of Yahawah. So the only reason why we have that fame and that renown is because the Lord Yahawah placed his name upon us. And that's why he say, for his name's sake will he do it. Not because we anything special. It's because for his name's sake will he deliver us and save us from this hell. For his name's sake, not for anything that we did special, because we're nothing. The Lord say, why is earth and ashes proud? Because we come from the earth, come from the ground. So from there, I was on verse 14? Yeah. And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, through the Most High beauty. Is why we reflect with reflection of the Most High beautiful, and it makes us beautiful because He's dealing with us, which I have put upon thee. That's going to that name He put upon us, saith the Most High power YAHAWAH. But thou didst trust in thine. Let me see, Salakia. Excuse me. Yeah, real quick. First, let's go to Jeremiah 31. And 32. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers, in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord YAHWAH. Bahasham Yahawashi. So the part I wanted to get was the end right there. Although I was an husband unto them. So the Lord, is with a good husband, do take care of his wife, deck her out, give her the best of everything, the best he can, in his captivity, do the best we can. But that's the desires, and that's the joy of a husband, to look out for his wife, look out for his, his lady, right? So give her the best of everything. And then so the Lord did that that's what Yahweh did to Israel. That's why He likened it to a husband, because he went above and beyond to beautify us through His name. And with all the spiritual blessing of the commandments and the covenant, and then the carnal blessings of the jewelry, apparel, the clothing, the best food, all of that. So we'll go back to Ezekiel chapter 16. So I was at verse 15 again. So, but thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playedest the harlot because of thy renown. So now, because of thy fame, now Israel, they got, they start feeling themselves, start thinking that they something special, when they were only special because of what the Lord did and put upon them. And now everybody come flattering them with flattering words and complimenting them, and now they get those wandering eyes. That's what a whore does. Have wandering eyes when total lack of respect and adultery towards their husband, looking at other men and everything, seeking other men and being flattered. It's just disgusting. So that's what the Lord likening it to. So they trust in their own beauty. So verse 15, but thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playest the harlot because of thy renown, and pourest out thy fornications on everyone that passed by. His it was. Like, whoa. Lord said, his it was. Any stranger, any heathen that came by, the Israelites gave them all their attention. They gave them their attention. They were flattered. They loved the attention and all that, like a whore does. Love that temptation, and then want to step out, and commit adultery. So verse 16. Let me see if there's a precept for that. Yeah, Deuteronomy 32. Let's go there real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 32. And verse 15 through 16. But Jeshurun, that's another name for Israel. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. That's what happened. We just waxed fat in the time of our nativity, in the day of the day of love, when the Lord blessed us and He gave us all that. We waxed fat through the Lord blessing us and giving us abundance and the very best of all nations, and kicked, and we relaxed. And that's that slang talk. So we waxed fat and we chilled out, and then we fell back from the Lord and blasphemed and committed adultery. These heathen nations played the harlot, like the Lord said. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the Most High power Yahweh, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. So we felt, like I say, the Lord gave us everything. Then we started getting that puffed us up. We thought we was something special, like we did that on our own, and fell from the Lord and started being a whore, aspiring and following after all these other heathen that gave us a little compliment and who were in awe of our beauty, just like today in our destroyed state we still, shine above all other nations. They still marvel at us even in this lower state. How much more when the kingdom of heaven come and we be put in our rightful estate and the rightful bodies. Well, not rightful bodies, but our blessed bodies. The Lord gonna do all of this again, but on the infinite level. So we were beauty then. If we thought, and if the heathen thought we were beautiful then at this time, just imagine the kingdom of heaven when the Lord does it again, but through his only begotten son, when we get beautified. And on a spiritual level, we got decked out on a carnal level with the kingdom and, with the land and all of the possessions and the food. It's going to be on a whole other level in the spiritual kingdom that's going to be infinite. So that's a very heavy thought to think about. And then, let's see. So from there, Ezekiel 16:16, and of thy garments thou didst take, and deckest thy high places with diverse colors, and playest the harlot thereupon. The like things shall not come, neither shall it be so. So we took all our things and was giving it to the heathen, sharing it and just being whores, just giving it away easily, just giving it away, just being simple as hell. In verse 17, thou hast also taken thy fair jewels of my gold and of my silver, which I had given thee, and madest to thyself images of men, and didst commit whoredom with them. So just like that golden calf, they took the jewels then, when Moses was in the mountain, Mount Sinai, with the Most High getting the commandments. Aaron and the people, they made a golden calf. So they were doing the same thing again, because following after these heathen, dirtying themselves in the mire, wallowing around with these filthy heathen. Made us to thyself images of men, didst commit whoredom with them. Verse 18, and tookest thy broidered garments and coverest them. So not only that, we took our clothing and gave it to the heathen and was given and sharing our clothes. So the Most High told us that he dealt with us as sons, not with the other nations. We have he only known. Us have he only known. And then so a good father in a neighborhood, has given his children everything. And then his sons go out and just start sharing and giving it away to all the other children in the neighborhood and other friends at school and stuff. That father's going to be rightfully pissed off and upset and offended that he would go and do that, because it's meant for him, not for everybody else, And verse, and thou hast set mine oil and mine incense before them. So we just disrespecting the Lord, is happily going off and giving our stuff all to these heathen that did nothing for us. Like the Lord said, these other heathen, they were sitting chilling in their own borders when we were going through that horrific 400-year slavery under the Egyptians in the iron furnace, as we read. They did nothing, but now they want to come over here, compliment, and then our people simple, but that's the 2/3. The 1/3 not like that, Let's see from there. Verse 19, my meat also, which I gave thee, fine flour and oil and honey, wherewith I fed thee, thou hast even set it before them for a sweet savor. And thus it was, saith the Most High Power YAHAWAH. So just going into it, the Lord, just is highly offended. He's, probably, possibly hurt, because that's a very offensive thing that we did. The Lord loves extremely hard, and then, he can judge, and he's the king of terrors as well. But his mercy and love far exceeds, his judgment and his wrath. But, you just have to appreciate what the Lord do for us and not go off and follow these heathen that hate us. And have anything else? Jeremiah 6 and 16. Okay, I already did that. Oh, okay, let's see. And so Ezekiel 16 and jump down to 22 real quick through 23. And in all thine abominations and thy whoredoms, thou hast not remembered the days of thy youth. One of the days of thy youth, when we got the covenant commandments, he cleaned us up, gave us everything. When thou wast naked and bare, and was polluted in thy blood, and it came to pass after all thy wickedness, woe, woe unto thee, saith the Most High Power Yahawaah. So that woe goes into destruction. It means it goes into strong grief. So if you grieve in something very mightily, then that means something really bad, something destructive happened to you. So that goes into destruction. And then just to get the word woe, just to kind of expand on it just real quick. Woe, alas, oh, passionate cry of grief or despair. Why is someone going through passion? Why is someone passionately crying or going through passionate grief or despair? Because they've been destroyed. And that's the judgment of the Lord. He's going to bring destruction. That's what brings that woe. So the Lord going to destroy us for committing those abominations and whoredom that he just called it here. So the Lord gave it to us and we wouldn't give it to other people. So we became whores, playing the harlot, and the Lord didn't, as blaspheming the Most High and committing an abomination. So the Lord that's why we always went into judgment, because we dealt with these heathens and broke the commandments. So from there, Ezekiel, we'll go to verse 26. Thou hast also committed fornication with the Egyptians, thy neighbors, great of flesh, and hast increased thy whoredoms, to provoke me to anger. And then verse 32, but as a wife that committed adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her husband, and we just read in Jeremiah 31:32 that the Lord was an husband unto us. So the other people came, the other heathen came and flattered us because they were amazed at our glory and our fame. And like a whore, went ahead and gave in to those compliments and got flattered and abandoned the Most High, sadly enough. So, with that, I think I went to a good amount. I hope this video is edifying. Great lesson. I just thank the Most High Power, YAHAWAH, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rechakodash, for giving me the understanding, the wisdom, knowledge and understanding to be able to put this lesson together. So until the next video, I say, Shalom.